You can't have it all. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 297 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and today's episode, it's a classic of the Shower Podcast, where through a personal struggle, I try to describe to you a much more serious and important topic that I genuinely believe it will, help you and maybe understand a bit more about yourself, because this is the key topic of today. Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, remember that liking and subscribing really mean a lot for me. They're just one click, but they really, really make the difference. Thank you very much for considering it. Two things before we start, just generic. I'll try to keep my microphone closer. I realized that I've gotten used to the other formats where I really have the microphone in front of me. And here there was a bit more fluctuation, so I'll try to do my best. And the second thing is also, these episodes in the shower are much harder now because, it's gotten easier with the other ones. And I'm really happy when I get the chance to present myself in the usual and, classic way of the Shower Podcast. So with these things out of the way, what is the topic of today? I would like to introduce you to two terms that I generally haven't seen or heard so much about on the internet, but also when I introduce this topic in real life with people, they always get amazed, not so much by the words or by what they mean, but mostly because they never realized they were one or the other thing. So, enough explanation. What are these two terms? So they are maximizers and satisfiers. Those are two trends of our characters, and they define a lot of the inner motivations that go along with our decision making. So if you are a maximizer, you will tend to act in a certain way and look for certain things, whereas if you're a satisfier, you'll try to do something else. Don't worry, this is not something that is good or bad. So this is something that I would like to describe to you. It's mostly how much are you able to match your personality to this more generic description of somebody's patterns. So let's start with the first and maybe one of the most common ones. And this is the maximizer. This is somebody that will always try to squeeze the most out of anything that he's doing. Are you the kind of person that when he needs to buy something always wants to get the greatest and the best thing ever? Are you the one looking into thousands of reviews and understanding what is the most optimal decision based on the 20,000 parameters that you have decided for yourself? Well, so am I, and that makes you a maximizer. And when I say that so am I should actually say so I was, because I slowly, through time and also through possibility, I tried to shift into a satisfier. What is that? The satisfier is somebody that sets a certain goal and sets a certain threshold for the activity that it has in front of you. Using the example that we had before, when you are trying to buy something, you say, okay, this is the budget that I have, and those are the things that I'm looking for. The moment in which I will find something that matches all those things, I will just go ahead and make my purchase. I will not continue looking. I will not bother to think if this is the best decision or if I am really taking the best for me, and I'm just gonna be satisfied with that. I mention this because coming back to the maximizer, and this is again something that I suffer from, and it gets pretty frustrating, it's the fact that after all the work that you have done, and you decided to make your purchase, and you're absolutely fascinated, and you're so happy with the decision that you made, a few days later, you realize that there was one last website that you haven't checked, and that website had a better deal. Or, even worse, there was a product that had that one last extra box. Even though it matches all the others that you were looking for, it had that extra thing that you didn't think of, but now you realize that you need that. And yet, you will not be in possess of that item. And that makes you frustrated. And the problem with this attitude, and maybe the message that I want to give to you, and also describe for the first time the example that I experienced, it's, as I said at the start, you need to match your personality with what you try to do. So if you are a maximizer as a person, and you indeed do all those things, and you are not frustrated by the consequences of your actions, that makes it perfect. As I said at the start of the episode, again, I want to underline it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you manage to match your personality and who you really are with the tendencies of a satisfier, you will remove one of the most problematic patterns that we all have: frustration. Because once you know that the purchase that you made ticked and satisfied all the requirements that you had in your head, there's nothing that will make you think, I could have chose better. Because even though technically that is true, you could have chose better, you didn't have to. And that makes life a whole bunch easier. So, what was this experience that I had and made me go back to being a maximizer instead of a satisfier? I was at dinner with some friends last night, and we were ordering. And I didn't know if we would have split the bill or not. And this is not something that it's strictly related to money. This is out of the scope. But I was looking through the menu, and I just didn't want to go with a classical choice of just having some meat with some vegetables, even though the restaurant was amazing. I decided to go for something a bit more special, let's say. And all the others had a classic meal. And after I received my dish, I realized that I didn't really make the best choice. And everybody around me was indeed, enjoying their meal. And there was also, psychologically, again, it was there, even though technically it's not a problem. I also chose a dish that was not that expensive compared to all the other ones. And this combination made my maximizer part of my character feel very frustrated about that, even though the dish that I chose was still absolutely fine and I would have been able to enjoy my meal perfectly. Like, out of all the things that happened, that was the only thing that could have bothered me. If I had been a satisfier and I just said, hey, look, you wanted to have a nice dinner, you had all the things that you needed, just be okay with that. I decided to be bothered by the only thing that was out of my control. So, all of this to say, don't be like me and really try to find a way and understand if there is space for a satisfier in your life. Because I genuinely believe that that is the best thing that can happen to you. And again, being able to stand with your choices, be with your choices, and just accept your choices is one of the best feelings that one can have. And I really recommend it. And I really hope that you will be able to have that in your life because, yeah, it just makes things a lot easier. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that this was interesting for you. And I really encourage you to go ask your friends. And also, you have the comment section, of course. Let me know if you're a maximizer or a satisfier. And if you made it so far, thank you very much again. Make sure to interact with this content in any way, shape, or form. Liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, whatever it is. It's always welcome. And as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow with the weekend drops.